I'm Mickey Thurman with the 7th Street Theater Association, and I want to thank everybody for coming out on this beautiful night. It was nice that the weather cooperated. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the sign and what we've done to get the sign. So if you just could bear with me for a minute here, it's kind of an interesting story. We, of course, use the Jones photos for a lot of our reference materials, and the Jones photo curators, the Anderson Middleton family, helped us with getting photos of this sign. This design is actually the original sign that was put on the theater in 1928, and then about 2 years later, they added a bunch of lighting to it. But mainly because you couldn't see the events, so they put a reader board up there and added a bunch of running lights around it, and then somewhere in 1940 it just disappeared. So or 1940s, we don't really know when it disappeared, and if anybody has information about that, it'd be great to hear it. In November 2009, the sidewalks, we all remember, were being replaced in parts of Hoquiam, and we had the opportunity to sell engraved bricks, so we decided to do a fundraiser for engraved bricks to raise money for the Candlestick sign. And that project brought in about $7,600. And then in October 2010, the bricks were installed. And the following year, in May, we had a Jones Photo Historical slideshow. I don't know if many of you went to that, but that was really well attended, and we raised about $6,500 from that event. Then in August of that year, the Jodesha Broadcasting Company donated a concert to us to help us raise funds for the sign, and that raised another $3,600. We had a lot of requests to show the Jones Photo slideshow again, so we did. Thank you, Tom Quigg, who's standing out here. That was a big deal. And we raised another, if I can read this, $2,500 at that show. Timberland Bank donated $2,500, and we had private donations of close to $2,000. So we raised about $24,000. And then the Anderson Middleton Company stepped up and said they would donate enough money to complete the sign. So that's how we got the sign, and a huge thanks to the Jones Photo Collection and Anderson Middleton both, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't know what the sign looked like, and we wouldn't have been able to finish the sign in the amount of time that we did. Yeah, I mean, really, it was a huge deal. So I guess that's about how we went with the sign project. It's been going on for about 3 years, and we haven't done anything on the outside of the building other than painting it about 4 or 5 years ago. And once we repair the heating system, we'll start working on the front wall here and restore it to what it was, which was beautiful. And then the back wall still has some leakage issues. And one of the projects we did recently that nobody really knows about was we installed a fire alarm system, which cost about $80,000 fire alarm system. So that's in the theater, so you're all safe when you're in there. We have a fire alarm. And I'm going to turn the microphone over to Ray Kaler, our board president. Thank you.
Talk a little bit about the process for how we decided on the design of the sign and the selection of the contractor. One of the major issues that we had to deal with on this sign was whether to go with LED technology for the lighting or neon technology. And we tried to research that ourselves, but it was really hard to determine, because LED is relatively new lighting technology, whether it would hold up in the kind of environment that we have. So we decided the best approach was to have our architect, Alan Gozart, prepare a request for proposal to send out to sign contractors, and we specifically included in that a request that they give us a detailed explanation of their view of the pros and cons of LED versus neon, because we wanted to get as many perspectives on that as we could to help us make an informed decision. And during the process of soliciting bids, we found that a theater sign like this is a very prestigious project for a sign company. It's something that doesn't come along very often, and it's something that sign companies really enjoy working on. So there was a lot of interest in this project and a lot of competition, and we ended up getting 6 bids from different sign companies. And the bids that we received, the bid proposals, were very high quality. They were very detailed. The design, you could tell that these companies put a lot of effort into their proposals because it was a very prestigious project to do. The criteria that we used to evaluate the bids included the design of the sign. We always, in our restoration projects, try to get as close as we can to the original design. So how close the design was to the original design was an important factor. The theater is listed on local, state, and national historic building registries. And because of that, there are certain historic preservation criteria that we have to follow. And any of our projects that we do that affect the appearance of the building have to be approved by the Hoquiam Historic Preservation Committee, and they apply those historic preservation criteria in evaluating whether our design satisfies historic preservation standards. So we always try to come as close as we can to the original design when we're doing restoration projects, taking into account the cost and current new technologies. In terms of the color scheme, we only have black and white photographs of the sign, so we don't know what the original colors are. And we found when we were trying to decide on new carpet for the theater that colors are very subjective and hard to get agreement on. We wanted a color scheme that would work if we decided to change the exterior color of the theater in the future, and we wanted colors that worked well together. So we looked on the internet at a number of other historic theater signs and found that this combination of red, white, and gold was pretty common, and we thought it worked well together. We also looked at the contractor's relevant experience with similar types of theater signs, their cost, and their warranties. We then had a meeting after we got the bids, and we eliminated 3 of the contractors and then selected 3 to come in person and make presentations to the board on a Saturday morning. That gave us an opportunity to ask them questions about their different design approaches, the different lighting technologies, maintenance requirements, what the sign would look like during the day as opposed to at night, the operating costs, and the control systems for the sign. Each company came and presented to us for about 50 minutes. And then we had another meeting to try to make a final selection of the contractor. The first thing we had to decide was whether to go with LED or neon because there was some disagreement amongst the sign contractors about what the best option was. We ultimately decided to go with neon because we had concerns about whether LED was, about the durability of LED in an exterior environment, a wet environment like we have, and the neon was more consistent with historic preservation and the type of look that we wanted. So after a lot of discussion, we ultimately decided on Ramsey signs for the project because of their demonstrated experience with historic neon signs. They've won an award for historic neon signs. They've been in the neon sign business since 1911. How closely their design followed the original design, and they also had the second lowest bid. The total cost of the project was a little over $40,000, which included the design, the installation and construction of the sign, the architect fees, and the electrical. And now I'm going to turn the microphone over to the Mayor of Hoquiam, Jack Gurney, for a few words, and then he's going to do the countdown for lighting the sign.
Thank you. You don't know what kind of an opportunity this is for a mayor to look kind of like Mussolini in World War II days, addressing the throngs. And anyway, thank you all for coming out on a chilly night. Thank you to the 7th Street Theater group, all the volunteerism that's gone into improving our theater and our downtown. I've had an opportunity to do a lot of things as mayor of Hoquiam. And I think that being a Dick Clark, as I'm going to be tonight, is going to be kind of a different way of doing things. I'm really proud to be here on behalf of everyone, not only in Hoquiam, but all of Bruce Harbor and Western Washington. to honor this great theater and our new sign. So we're going to be kind of like New York and New Year's Eve, and we're going to count down. I'm hoping somebody can do that. Ray is going to push a magic button and the light's going to go on. So I'm going to start out at 10, and then if we could count down like they do on New Year's Eve, let's see this new sign really light up. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, light! That's gorgeous. Thank you for coming. We take some pictures, and it's a great day.